welcome to the 10 p.m. local time update of World's Toughest Mudder. I have some amazing news. Number one, Haruko got me a coffee from the local Starbucks. Number two, we have the one, the only master of statistics, the brewer of something. Ladies and gentlemen, Jack Bauer has joined us all the way from his compound in Colorado, and he's here to tell us probably that he went on a run recently with Mark Batres. Is that true?
I did in Big Bear. I stayed with him.
I knew it. Yeah. I knew it.
Yes.
So, yeah. Jack, I know you've been on another assignment. You've probably seen the story so far is Mark and Stephanie
crushing it.
Running really, really, really fast. Why don't we take a look at the leaderboard, and why don't you start talking to us about the pace that Mark is on right now?
Sure. So it looks like about 2.5 hours in, you don't have it pulled up, but Mark Batres is with lap 11, so he's either in the pit or starting number 12. But bottom line, he is absolutely crushing it. I was like looking at some of the old results with Ryan Atkins, and obviously he's had some pretty serious results through the years. I'm gonna pull it up on my end. So Mark Batres took him 9.5 Mark Batres has basically been running in the upper 50s. This is the first time that his lap an hour, but it was only just under 62 minutes. By the time that Ryan Atkins, when he ran 100 miles, that were one of the first years, he actually had 4 laps that were over an hour and 3 minutes by the time that he reached this point. So Mark is well ahead of pace for setting a record at the moment. And the conditions seem pretty favorable, aren't they? You're out there. How are they?
So this is the nicest weather we've had by a long shot, because not only is it just like not cold, but there's no wind. Like, remember, yeah. I'm sure you saw my horrible coverage where you couldn't hear anything I was saying. So yeah. We're in the same spots tonight, and you hear me perfectly. I even went without the headset and was talking with Hunter, and you guys could hear me fine. So I just saw Hannah Carta. She was having a hard time deciding to remove her wetsuit or not. She's like, I wish I had a shorty. This is like the year you need the shorty, because it's not, I always say get the 3.2 full and you can layer up, but a 3.2 might be too hot if you're moving at any kind of clip. So it's real warm. Now, here's the thing that I've talked about a little bit. There is water on the course. There's no water crossings, but you are 100% going to get wet on Block Nest, Well Swung, and the other water one, Cage Crawl.
Yeah.
But yes.
Just think of, say you're in like your standard swimming pool at the gym or so. It's probably like in the mid to upper 70s temperature. It's not cold, but after like 45 minutes in there, an hour in there, you're like, it kind of got a little cold. And I have a feeling that people who take their wetsuits off ahead of time, at least before like the sun rises, they're probably going to regret it, because even though the absolute temperature isn't cold, that it adds up after a while. And once you start losing dexterity and you start feeling cold, that messes with you a little bit. So I think it's probably better to play it safe and just keep it on, even if it slows you down like fractionally.
But she was thinking she could go to just pants, right? Since she doesn't have the shorty. By the way, you're watching the Everest Angels, as we call them. Francis and his crew, they're going to be there all night helping people up. But I want to know what you're thinking of. Let's talk about the other top women. So tell me what you think when you look at Amelia and Katie's paces compared to, say, Stephanie, who's a lap ahead.
Yeah, so I know Amelia, obviously, this is 10 years since the first time that she ran World's Toughest Mudder. But at this point, it's like if you took 10-year-old Amelia, or 10 years ago Amelia, put her against Stephanie, it looks like Stephanie would be crushing it. She's currently 8th overall if you include all the men, and she's 21 minutes in at the 45 mile mark. The thing that's kind of a little concerning to me, she's basically lost about 6 minutes a lap starting at lap 5. So each lap has been roughly 5 to 6 minutes slower than the previous one. So that's kind of a little alarming. And you'd rather see like you're gradually going to slow down, but you'd rather see a little bit less of a drop between laps. But yeah, that's kind of alarming. Let's take a look at Katie Knight. So she's at 40 miles at the moment. Also dropping, she's running a little bit slower in terms of her lap pace than Stephanie. So I guess relative to Stephanie, she's not gaining, but she's been pretty consistent in the high 1 teens. And then Amelia, who's also at 40 miles at this part. Also, between lap 6 to 7, Amelia was like 11 minutes slower. And then she basically ran that same pace for lap 8. So it looks like she's starting a little bit. But we know Amelia has been here plenty of times before, and she can suffer with the best of them. So, she might be holding back, knowing what's ahead.
So, if she's losing 6 minutes a lap, can you do some quick math? When will those women catch her?
Who were you referring? You just said she and her.
Sorry, if Stephanie is losing 6 minutes a lap, I hadn't realized that was happening. How soon?
No. So I'm talking previous to her previous lap. Like Stephanie's slowest lap so far was 1:16, and that was on her most recent lap. Katie Knight's past 2 laps have been 1:16 and 1:17. And then Amelia's laps have been 1:22 and 1:24. So Stephanie's still running faster than both of them. I'm just saying her incremental drop compared to how Stephanie was running earlier in the race, it's a bigger step down than the other two.
People are loving this and saying we could run this camera 24 hours. What do you think? Should we do that? Should we just leave Tyler up there for 24 hours?
Do it.
All right, so let's talk about the men. Other than Mark's on fire pace, there were 4 men that were actually running together, which included Josh Reed. Josh is currently out. Josh is officially DNF at this point. He said to me, I just spoke to him, and he said, he did Funky Monkey and Well Swung and was like, okay, it's just a matter of time before this thing pops out. What am I doing? Like this is just not smart. So he dropped out because Javier, Trevor, Josh Fiore, and Joshua Reed were all running together. If you look at their times, they were literally just running together for the longest time. So this Christian Brown Johnson, what do we know about him? Not a familiar name.
I looked him up online real quick, and it looked like there were only 2 ultra results for him to be able to find of him. So he ran the 100 miles this past end of May, and he got 11th at the Silver Moon race, Paso Robles. I'm not sure what that is. And he did another Silver Moon race, 100 miler in 2019, and he got 3rd overall. So he's got a couple of 100-mile events under his belt. He was just over 24 hours for the other one, or for the 2019, and he was just under 28 for the this past May race. I don't know the elevation change or anything like that. That's clearly going to affect your pace, but the guy has clearly had that amount of time on feet before. I don't really know too much about him, but his, having a couple 100 milers under your belt, that's at least good. He's ready for the suffering when everything starts getting stiff overnight.
Quick shout out to Cookie, Dan, Nigel from the UK. You're all doing awesome. Keep moving forward. Haruko, I'm going to unmute you here. Can you get any closer, Haruko?
Yeah.
So we can watch some people coming through this bad boy? Or actually, can you be in the other side of it?
Yeah.
And then we can watch people. This is called freaking lasers. This is what I would be skipping, Jack. What about you?
Freaking laser beams.
Let's hear what's are they electric? What's going on there?
Yes.
Yes.
I wouldn't enjoy this obstacle. How are the penalty loops looking for most of them?
So there's only technically one penalty loop. Have you seen like the bouncing on the
yes.
Dumbo hops?
Yeah.
So that's a penalty.
Okay.
One of the penalties is for, I forget. There's only one penalty.
They're opting out.
Okay. All right, we'll come back to you in a bit. We're going to go back to the Everest Angels. We'll come back when we see somebody.
Okay.
Keep holding the camera there, Haruko. Let's go back to Everest. So where was I? So Where was I? Keep me on track here.
We were going back to the men on. You mentioned Christian Brown Johnson.
Oh no, I was saying about there's one out and back that's essentially a half mile, and I forget what it is. I forget what obstacle it is. I can pull it up, or if somebody wants to maybe pull it up in the rules, maybe. But the other ones are all like the Etch-a-Sketch thing. Now, I'll be honest, I thought we weren't doing that kind of stuff for the elites. Like, I thought that was like the silliness. But I talked to Kyle. He said, well, it's a dexterity challenge, like to do the Etch-a-Sketch. So what do you think? Fair or foul on the elites on that?
It sort of reminds me of like those memory tests that you do in Spartan. It's like that thing. I mean, I get it. The dexterity, that does matter. I could see his argument there, but it does seem sort of gimmicky. That's how I describe it.
Yeah, well, we'll see what the word is from the elites later.
Yeah.
So here's another thing about Mark Batras. Mark did 10 laps and did not know that he could be bypassing an obstacle. Everything after 5, you get a carabiner. There's 2 guys sitting outside to hand them to you. You run right by them, and they hand you a carabiner, which is good to skip a lap, which I think Fear the Beard is the one he'll use, which is the one I said people will skip. Just a long climb up a long hill under Fear the Beard, under the beard thing. He didn't even know. I said, Natalie, how did you guys not know? She said, we read this is our first WTM. We read all the rules. We somehow missed that. So, and you can't get them after because they don't know that you didn't cheat, that you didn't already use them. So now he's going to get them every time. He said he will start to use them. So think about the time. That's another 5 minutes he would have saved. 5 minutes times 5, that's 25 minutes.
I mean, he's at least the most recently refreshed leaderboard. Looks like he's on lap 2 or just past mile 2 on lap 12. And then Javier, Christian, Trevor, and Josh, it looks like, are working together mile 1 on lap 11. So he's got literally a full lap, a 5-mile lap plus an extra mile, and he's 15 minutes ahead of them based on the last. Like, he's destroying it right now. We have seen this in the past, like a Nicodemus Holland and Jun Young Pak, where they just went out crazy hard. You thought that they were going to run like 130 miles, and guess what? Like 4 a.m. hits you, and suddenly you don't feel as good. This is Mark's first 24-hour race. So you can't, never say never. Rhea came in her first 24-hour race. Amelia did it back in the day. Like, people do have breakout races in their first 24-hour race like this, but the pace that he's holding right now is just really, really impressive. I hope it works out. But one thing that I will say about Mark, being in Laughlin, I was at the Spartan Combine a few years ago, and it was held in Laughlin. And the day after, everybody was all beat up and stuff, and we ran the super course for Spartan on pretty much the same terrain. He won by like 3 or 4 minutes over like Veerman and Matt Kempson, like a bunch of solid athletes. And I just remember watching him, and Mark's stride on sand was just smooth, and it didn't look like he was struggling. I don't know what you were seeing out there, but I knew that a venture like this with this terrain would be really good for him based on his stride type. What have you seen out there with him, Matt? How's he look?
Well, I don't know. Did you see my update, my video update?
Where you were running with him?
Yeah. He's like, I might crash and burn, but he was going so fast.
Yeah.
That, like, I mean, here I am, relatively fresh. I did run a 5-mile lap easy earlier. This guy was on mile 45 and flying, and I couldn't keep up with him. But yes, this does make him the sand a favorite, I guess. However, Abu Dhabi, I hear, is deeper.
Yeah, and Abu Dhabi's a lot easier when you don't run a 24-hour event 3 weeks beforehand. So that matters.
There's plenty of time to rest. What do you mean?
24-hour event, and if you imagine setting the record in this and then trying to race the best of the best, like John Albin and Atkins and stuff, that's not gonna. You're not gonna be recovered fully for that. I know Josh Fiore did, Telluride not too long ago, and Katie Knight as well. But how many other repeats do you see in this field?
These guys just come flying through. Crawling under looks easy, but there are 2 really low wires.
Oh, okay.
Let's ask
What's
Haruko.
What's the general?
Haruko, are they yelling when they come through this, Haruko?
You know what? I think the voltage is down low because they said it didn't hurt that much. And I've been shocked before, and it makes you angry if it's up. So they seem pretty happy.
Can you walk over there and zap yourself real quick?
Yeah, I'm going to do that.
What? I was just joking. I didn't think you would.
I'm not.
Oh, okay. I was like, wow, dedication.
No. Okay. Yeah, everybody's like, oh, it's not that big a deal.
Do you think it's a ruse? Ooh, I was going to say, do you think it's a ruse? But no, I heard that one, right?
Yeah.
Looking at this leaderboard, what else? What are your other thoughts, Jack? Looking at this.
All right. Never doubt Trevor Psychos.
Did it hurt?
The man is a tactician. He just clips away at a constant pace. He's not really in the picture as like the biggest threat until after the halfway point. That's what he's done historically. He's won this race before, and just looking at his splits, he's holding really, really steady. And I just have a really good feeling about him sneaking up. And the fact that Javier, Christian, Trevor, Josh, that they're sticking together, it kind of reminds me of what Mark Gaudet and Tyler Veerman did in Telluride a few weeks ago, where they were able to kind of close the gap on Miguel Medina, who was kind of the lone wolf out front. Miguel kind of like what Mark Batres is doing at the moment. And then they ended up, overtaking them later in the race and ended up basically just coming down to who had the most in the last lap. I could easily see teamwork really making a big difference in this. They might stick together for, who knows, 18 hours and then split off and kind of see who's got the most guts at the end. But I could easily see that happening on the men's side. How about you?
Yeah, I want to know. So ahead of the race, Javier told me, hey, me and Josh are going to hang for a while. And
Fiore or Reading?
Josh. They said all of them.
Okay.
I think he said he wasn't sure Josh could keep up with them, Fiore. But this Christian Brown Johnson I hadn't heard of before. So I want to get a chance maybe after this time we go live, I'll talk to them and just see their strategy is. It's just like, hey, let's just see who has the most at the end, sprint finish.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Matt Hansen, currently on lap 9.
Yep.
Multiple big finisher, lots of big miles.
Yeah,
I would not rule him out.
I would 100% agree. He got like 10th place one of the earlier years, and then 6th place, and I think like a 4th. He's had some really good finishes. Same deal. It's you can be looking like the best runner in the world for the first 12 hours, but it doesn't matter if you can't hold on to it towards the end. Because the bottom line is moving, period, is better than not moving. And people, even if they're running half the speed that they were at the beginning, if they're still out there for 6 extra hours, they're going to inevitably make up a lot of ground.
Dude, how awesome is this to see, man? Just helping every single person. Because it used to be you showed up to this obstacle and it was like, maybe somebody is there, maybe there isn't. And if it's you and your buddy and and your buddy can't make it up. I mean, when I did this in 20 was the last one I did? 2016. I remember there was an Everest 1.5 and a 2.0. Mm-hmm. And I think that there was different penalties for each. And I remember I was doing the penalty lap because there wasn't enough people to help when we went by it a few times.
Yeah, that's good to know. I got a question for you. What do you think would be happening right now if Ryan Atkins was running?
Wouldn't that be great to know? Like what Batres would be doing versus Atkins? I know Atkins runs his own race.
That Atkins would be like, I think like, go ahead. I know what I'm doing. This is your first time. Like, I just think that you're gonna get far enough away from me, and I would have trusted Atkins, but Batres would be putting on the pressure. I can tell you that much at this point.
So, but what you're saying is there'd be Batres, then Atkins, then that next crew, right? Atkins would probably be ahead of those guys.
Yes, I don't think that Atkins would drop back to Javier, Trevor, etc., like to their pace, even though working together might be a good strategy, I think that he would probably be a little bit ahead. And then on the women's side, another name that we were talking about, Stephanie, Katie, and Amelia. Erin Ross is just kind of lurking in the background, and she's had success here before. So looks like she's probably on track for somewhere in the 80s at this point, honestly.
So she's also slowing down a little. She's slowing down a little bit. 119, 121, 125.
She is.
I thought by now they settle in and they start doing like consistent ones until like the morning, then it changes again.
And I actually just pulled up the weather forecast for it, and it looks like at about 1 a.m. it goes from 1 mile an hour winds right now to sustained 11 mile an hour with gusts over 20, and then that's lasting until the afternoon. So and it picks up a little bit. So I think you're going to start seeing some windier conditions pretty soon. That can change.
Well, that's going to make things. That definitely could change things.
Yeah,
it also doesn't make me happy because I'm walking around in just a hoodie. I've never done that. I could probably walk around. No, I couldn't walk around with a t-shirt. Usually, I have like several layers on this hour.
Yeah. No, I don't want to, jinx it for you, but I mean that's what it's looking like. At least the weather, like temperature-wise, is looking pretty good. But yeah, it says wind gusts 15 plus miles an hour starting next hour. So could be getting bad. You don't know.
Jack, are you racing this weekend?
Where would I be racing?
I don't know. I'm curious what you're up to.
Yeah, no, I've taken a nice long off season just to kind of let the body refresh and stuff, and I'm starting my rebuild Monday, so it should be good.
Well, I think this might be Jesse. I'm not 100% sure how many wheelchair teams there are out there.
Do you think that I saw that there was like 750 feet of elevation? Do you think that is with this sand versus some of the old courses, do you think that that's affecting things a little bit more, or do you think the weather is playing a little bit more of a role in why people are having
I'm sorry, I got a random text that I was trying to decipher who sent me this.
Yep.
And I have no idea who it is. So go ahead, say that. Ask me that question again.
Oh, I was basically just trying to figure out, why do you think the distances are so, and the paces are so impressive this year so far? Is it all weather based? Do you think it's the terrain here? Like, what's going on? And this is pretty legit.
I think that you have two people that decided, I'm going to go as fast as I can. I mean, Mark didn't go over an hour until the last lap.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just, and no one else is doing that. So, you know what I mean? I just think that they came in. Stephanie was a very late addition. I had heard about a week ago she might come. She didn't want to announce. She even for the start of the race, when Sean was reading the rules, she was like the furthest corner away, like kind of behind the inflatable. She was clearly wanted to be very low key, and now she's dropping the hammer.
Yeah.
So
yeah. She won the hot lap though, right? The first one.
Yes. But Josh Reed won the hot lap on the men's side.
Saw that. Yep.
So we're getting a very important question from the worst Nick. He says, need the Gary versus Theo check-in. Can you pull up their splits? Gary versus Theo.
Yeah. Is there a search bar?
Yeah. Theo.
But he's Randall, right?
Yes. Randil.
Randall Jeffrey Styles 9 hours 25 minutes. So 30 and 9:25. Gary Belanger 30 and 8:17. So Gary is laying the smackdown on Randall.
Can you look at the paces, see who's slowing down?
Sure. So it looks like Gary, like I said, 30 and 8 hours 17 minutes. He's been running his past 3 laps of between 128 and 139. And then if I look at Randall, let's see, his last 3 laps, so 128 to 139 for Gary, and we're looking at 130 to 159. I got my money, the biggest sensation in the world, Gary. So
what if he blows up?
I mean, it already looks like Randall is. So.
Oh.
Just saying. 30-minute drop in the past 2 laps. That's not good at this point.
Well, let me pull it up because I lost it. Hang on, where did that leaderboard go? I had it.
Looks like Katie Knight is done with lap 9 now, but she's an hour and 2 behind Steph Bishop at the same checkpoint. So got some work to do. Got a question for you about Katie Knight. Over under plus or 0.5 infractions that she'll commit.
Oh, well, I mean, listen, let's hope that there's no silly penalties that she'll. I think she's going to be okay with this. I think she's going to be okay. When I saw her, so here's what I've seen recently before this last time coming on. Other than Josh Reed, who wasn't doing well, Trevor was like, I feel amazing. This thing hasn't even started yet. Katie felt super strong. Mark, as you know, I'm trying to think who else I saw that looked good. I think everybody's really enjoying the weather. If this wind changes, we will see what happens because right now, you can see the elites aren't like a lot of them aren't running in a wetsuit.
Yeah.
Gary, can we go back to Theo? I want to see Theo's splits because I'm gonna have to run over to his tent and say what is going on. Like how is he already?
Okay.
So his last thing was 2 hours, and what was Gary's last lap?
1:39.
Wow.
So he's still running 20 minutes faster per lap. So yeah. But Theo had a 17-minute pit crew in there. I don't know if that was to put on a wetsuit or
I'm guessing it was. Yeah, I saw that too.
Gary's done with 35 now. So Gary
but remember Gary hit 35 at toughest and then didn't change his clothes and stopped.
Yeah.
So,
but
remember that?
Gary's keeping his pit time minimal, and he just did a 1:58 for his last lap, which is faster than on lap 7, and that's faster than Theo's lap 6. So it's looking good at the moment. One thing that I noticed, speaking of pit times, so Mark Batras, he's had 3 of them that are 5:51 or longer. And if you look at like Javier and Trevor, they're all keeping it 2:30 to 3 minutes. So that's about 4 minutes every single lap or 3 to 4 minutes that Mark is losing. Little things like that add up for the course of this. I don't know if it was, Mark just feels better getting the run out, sitting down for a few minutes to kind of regather. But the guys who get in and get out, they're definitely making up a little bit of ground in the transition area.
Yeah, I noticed that. Oh, what's the next 2022 hint? Okay. It is currently 36 degrees Celsius at the 2022 city. It's currently 36 degrees Celsius in the 2022 city. That's your hint for 2022. Hang on a second. I'm going to pull up something.
For all of our American viewers, that's 97 degrees Fahrenheit.
Why did you do that? Why would you help? Why would you help people? I'm trying to keep them on their. Come on, man.
Sorry, man.
I'm trying to keep them on their toes.
I'll leave that. I ruined it. Just kidding. I haven't heard a single other clue, so I'm literally no help. I'm just guessing.
Are you doing OCR stars?
Me?
Yeah.
So I did one. I stupidly wore spikes and got like a 3 to 4 inch blister on both feet on mile 2 to 3 on them. So I had a really shitty 2 or 3 mile time. And then I ended up doing event 2. I got 355 for my deadlift, like 25 pull-ups, I think, because I didn't want to burn out the grip, and then like a minute 40 or a minute 30 for my dead hang. It wasn't competitive compared to like Atkins hanging for 8.5 minutes.
I just want to know how you did. I'm not going to compare yourself to Atkins. That's just silly.
No. So if I add everything up, it was probably a little under 500 for my points. Probably in like the 480s.
So where are you? Where are you in the board? That's what I'm asking.
Oh, I didn't get a chance to log. I was out in the wilderness today, and I tested it this morning, and I didn't get a chance to upload it. So I'm just kind of going on what I did.
Were you deer hunting?
No, one of my girlfriend's friends from college was here out of town, and we went to a couple like little cool outdoor there's something called Royal Gorge, maybe an hour south of us. We checked that out and just did some exploring. So.
Is that Steph Bishop coming up? I thought maybe that was Steph for a second.
Let's get a camera. If only we had a camera who was literally right there. It's a white shirt. 2200. No, that's not.
It's not her. Sorry, I thought it was.
Steph Bishop is 1197. We were looking at. Wait, I must have read the wrong number, but it said it had 2 zeros at the end of it.
It wasn't. It's fine. It wasn't her. I thought for a second it was.
Yeah. What, you think every blonde person is the same?
Be quiet. Well, listen, Jack. Anything else? Maybe. I think we're gonna wrap this up here shortly.
Do you want to make a bold prediction for the rest of the night? I'm going.
Who are your 1, 2, 3? Go. Let's get you. Let's full screen, Jack Bauer. Okay. You want to give us your one? Has your 1, 2, 3 predictions changed since before this race started? I know there was no official poll, but what was your guesses?
My initial guess, and you have it in writing. I know you do in text message. Mark Batres. I said he was going to win it, and then I thought that it was going to be Trevor than Javier.
So, Mark, Trevor, Javier.
Yep.
And on the women's side, who was your
women's side? I didn't know Steph Bishop was coming, and I thought it was going to be Katie Knight, Amelia, then Erin.
Okay, that could still happen if Steph starts to drop, right?
Yep. I do not see Hannah Carta in the top 10 anymore. She's 12th. I'm a little surprised at that, but long way to go. But she had a 2:01 last lap against a bunch of 1:30s for women above her.
Well, she said she was too hot and she was going to change, but that should have taken that long.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I think those are pretty solid picks. I think Ian Caskey's going to make some noise also. He's had some pretty good ultra performances, not OCR specifically, but he's got a really good mindset. He could move up later in the night. And I would normally put Josh Fiore up there if he didn't run Telluride recently. That's just a lot of wear and tear on your body in a short time. But how about you? Let's hear yours.
Okay. Let's go to my predictions. Okay.
Yeah.
Hang on. Let me look at the board. Hang on. Let me look at the damn board.
I mean, there are some people like lurking in the 35 to 40 range, like who have done well in the past, like Wesley Harris and Logan Nagel, a few of these guys who've had some. Matt Hansen's back there a little bit. He's not really in the picture at the moment. And
I'm gonna say, Katie, Amelia, and Erin.
Okay.
Catch Stephanie. I'm gonna say she starts to slow down. Don't know when.
Really?
Just gonna predict. Just gonna say. Which means that would be your order, right? Is that your order?
I think at this point, I was going off of my pre-show thing. I still think Stephanie. It looks like Erin is going a lot slower.
Is she? Is she already slowed down a lot?
Yeah, I remember reading her splits because she's like 113, 111, 119, 121, 125. So she's definitely dropped a bit. I know it's a long race. A lot of things can happen. Stephanie could blow up, but I mean, Stephanie's had success here in the past. So I don't know. I personally think it's at the end of the day, it's probably going to be Katie, Stephanie, then Amelia, if I had to guess.
But how about this way? That's Amelia.
That 100%. Facial recognition. So she's in shorts.
She's in shorts, but has the cap on. Has the cap on for the water.
So it looked like she has gaiters on also for the sand, which seems intelligent.
So, whoa!
Oh, dang! That was like a slow motion tumble right there.
How about this?
Yeah.
We love the Vegas odds, right?
Yep.
Mark Batres or the field?
Batres.
I'm taking the field.
Okay.
Steph Bishop or the field? I'm taking the field. I'll
take the field.
However,
yeah.
Who do I think's going to hang on more? That's the question. I think if one person, I think I would put Batra slightly ahead of Stephanie of the blow up, I guess.
Even though it's a deeper field on the men's side.
It's hard, dude. It is really hard.
Now, here's the last question for you. Will a mileage record be broken in either or both genders?
Did you hear what Evan Prepara said?
He said he doesn't think 100 on the dot will even podium.
What do you think? That's amazing. Is it going to be 110, 105, 105, or 3 105s with the fastest time winning?
So if I'm not mistaken, they're still allowing like 25 and a half completion hours, right?
Correct. Got to be done by 1:30.
Oh man, you're looking at 10 hours in, and you've got a bunch at 50. That means they'd hit 100 at 20. So realistically, they have 15 hours to go 50 miles at this point. So they can go essentially 2/3 as fast the rest of the race. I don't know. I think 100 will be on the podium. I don't think that, oh man, these splits are stupid compared to the past now that I think about it. Because we've had like Chad Trammell and Killian and Albin and Atkins. Like we've had 4 people go 105 or 110 in the same race. So it is. Yeah, Killian and Chad Trammell got 105 one year, and then Albin and Atkins have, like, it's happened before where you've had multiple people go 105 plus. I don't know. I'm gonna say that third place gets 100, not 105.
What about the women?
100?
No, I'm asking how many miles do you think the women will?
I was like, whoa, that'd be crazy. I think Rhea's got 90 twice, and Amelia has got that before, right?
I want to say Amelia got 95 once, but I don't remember.
Maybe it was 95. And maybe Rhea was also 95. I don't think you'll see 100 just based on the splits you're seeing. I think if Rhea was running this, I'd probably like her chances of doing it on this type of course. But I would say you're probably going to see 85 for the win on the women's side. Probably 90. I'll go 90 for the win.
All right. Well, I'm going to. I'm not going to make any more predictions. My brain, that coffee wore off pretty quick.
Matt, I'm proud of you for being awake. I think this is the first time I've ever witnessed you being awake after 8 p.m. That's usually Eastern time.
Have you watched World's Toughest Mudder for the last 9 years?
But that could be a stand-in dummy. I don't know.
Typically, I am definitely asleep by now. Typically, I'm very much in bed, not on calls. But we are in it. We are in it to win it this weekend. I'm going to throw up a little quote here. We are not announcing, Jody. The announcement happens at the brunch. At the brunch, they make the announcement. That's been the historical time. Let me edit this and say we will see you. Oh, that's where it is. Yep. So the next actual live update. Let me find this thing. Now I lost it. Where'd it go? I lost it. All right. Technically, that is the next update from Tough Mudder. Okay. 6 a.m. We're going dark for the night. However, I am going to be awake. So ORM YouTube, ORM Instagram, I'm going to be popping on. Something crazy happens, I might hop on. Tough Mudder might hop us back on. But the next Tough Mudder live update is 6 a.m. That's a long time from now.
I won't be awake.
Did you watch Savage today? Let's do a Savage update.
I saw that Ken took down Sean Roberts, and I thought I saw some post about people like starting with a log for over a mile.
I actually, because I was asleep when the race started, it was 5 a.m. my time. I only saw the end, and I saw women failing that rig horribly.
Krisha Glasky, she's good.
She's a beast.
Yeah, she does everything. Like she literally can't fail anything. Like, and she did like a full triathlon like a week ago, and then like she signed up for like a 200-mile race in Tahoe next year. Or maybe not Tahoe, but 200 miles somewhere. She's crazy.
Haruko looks like a zombie. Haruko just got over to me. She's wearing a onesie. She looks like a zombie.
All right. Matt, are you going to bundle up for the wind?
Yeah, I got layers, bro.
Okay.
I got layers.
Sure. I thought you said you only had that flimsy t-shirt or sweatshirt.
I said this is the only time I've ever gone this late. Oh, I know. I packed gloves. I packed hats.
Yeah.
Do you want to come back? Do you want to come back on with us later on? Do you think maybe?
I'll probably be up for maybe 2 more hours.
No, I meant in the morning. In the morning.
Do I look like a morning person to you? Maybe like 10 a.m.
Okay.
I'd be able to.
All right. Check
Just
in
text
with me
me. I'll answer you when I wake up, all right?
Hang on a second. What does that mean? Oh, he's got layers. Get it? I was so stupid.
Yeah.
I was so stupid.
Ogres also have layers for all our Shrek fans here.
All right.
Yeah. All right.
Stay tuned, everybody. We will see you in the morning on YouTube for Tough Mudder. You'll see ORM YouTube and other fun stuff soon. Thank you, Jack. You're the man.
All right. No problem, Matt. See ya.
See ya.
Bye.